The Vikings, raiders and pillagers, right? That's the story you've been told. But the men who terrified Europe for 3 centuries were also the best shipbuilders on Earth, ran trade routes stretching to Baghdad, and reached North America 500 years before Columbus. Here's the real history. The story doesn't start with an axe. It starts with a boat. Sometime in the 8th century, Scandinavian shipwrights perfected a design that changed everything: the longship. Shallow drafted, flexible hulled, fast under sail or oar, it could cross open ocean and then slide up a river barely deep enough to wade in. That single piece of engineering is the reason the Viking Age happened at all. Without it, the farmers and fishermen of Norway, Denmark, and Sweden stay home. With it, they go everywhere. And they went for a reason. Scandinavia in the 700s was a hard place to make a living. Land was scarce, split among too many sons under strict inheritance rules. Political power was consolidating, pushing out those who lost the game. Trade routes to the south were already whispering about the wealth sitting undefended in Christian Europe. Monasteries stacked with silver, gold, and no army guarding the door. Push and pull. Not enough land at home, too much loot abroad. The moment historians point to as the start of it all is June 8th, 793. A raiding party lands on Lindisfarne, a monastery off the northeast coast of England. It's not just an attack. It's a message. A contemporary chronicler wrote that never before had such horror appeared in Britain. Monks slaughtered or dragged away in chains, treasures stripped from the altar. Word spreads across Christian Europe fast. Something has come out of the north, and it doesn't fear God or king. For the next 200 years, that fear becomes routine. Viking fleets hit Ireland, Scotland, the Frankish coast, Spain, even sail into the Mediterranean. But calling it just raiding undersells what's actually happening. Raiding is the opening move. Settlement is the real game. In England, the Vikings carve out the Danelaw, a swath of territory under Norse control and Norse law, stretching across much of the north and east. In Ireland, Viking raiders found what becomes Dublin. Yes, one of Europe's great cities starts as a Norse trading camp. In France, King Charles the Simple, tired of losing the fight, hands over a chunk of land in 911 to a Viking leader named Rollo in exchange for peace and loyalty. That land becomes Normandy, literally land of the Northmen. 150 years later, Rollo's descendant, William the Conqueror, sails from that same Normandy and takes the English crown at Hastings. The Vikings didn't just raid England. Through Normandy, they eventually conquered it twice. Now, here's where the popular image really falls apart. If you only picture horned helmets and burning villages, you're missing 90% of what these people actually did. The Vikings were, first and foremost, traders. Their ships that could carry raiding parties could just as easily carry cargo. And Scandinavian merchants built trade networks that stretched staggering distances. Swedish Vikings, the ones history calls the Rus, pushed east instead of west, down the rivers of what is now Russia and Ukraine, trading and eventually ruling. They reached the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, and made contact with the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic Caliphate in Baghdad. Archaeologists have pulled Arabic silver coins out of Viking graves in Sweden by the thousands. A Norse trader in the 800s could plausibly have handled currency that passed through Baghdad before it ever reached his hand. The word Russia itself likely comes from Rus, the name of these Swedish traders turned rulers who founded the early states that became Kievan Rus. And the exploration didn't stop east or south. It went west, further than almost anyone in Europe believed possible. In the 870s, Norse settlers colonized Iceland, an empty volcanic island that became a fully functioning society, with its own parliament, the Althing, established around 930, one of the oldest surviving representative assemblies in the world. From Iceland, a man named Erik the Red, exiled for manslaughter, sailed further west and found Greenland around 985. He named it Greenland deliberately, marketing move included, to lure settlers to a land that was mostly ice. It worked. Colonies survived there for centuries. And Erik's son, Leif Erikson, pushed even further. Around the year 1000, Norse explorers reached the coast of North America, a place the sagas call Vinland.